Let's see, should we get started? Is everyone ready to learn? We're doing the cyber safety class session 2. It's about fortifying the fortress. So what that means is the first session we learned about scams and how to recognize scams. This session we're going to learn some tips on how to really protect yourself against scams. Let's get into it. So again, just a brief review. Who am I and why am I doing this? My name is Nathan Call. I'm an IT professional. I work here in Minneapolis. Working in IT means that I have to stay up to date with everything that's going on in technology. And so with that, it can be challenging because there's a lot of things going on in technology. The industry is changing all the time, but I try to keep up to date. And so, why am I doing this? I believe God is calling me not only to, help with our YouTube live stream we do and our website, but also to help you guys and take responsibility over helping you guys with technology. As again, it's a very it changes all the time, and so it's important to stay up to date. Good morning.
Good morning. You're full.
Yeah. Come on in.
Sorry to be late.
No, you're good. Yeah. So for some review, again, the universal anatomy of a scam. So there's 3 main parts to a scam. Really unexpected contact, a high emotion, and sense of urgency. And so, do you guys all remember this from last time? We went through this. I'm going to sort of review it. Unexpected contact is a unsolicited call, text, or email. You did not initiate. High emotion, the scammers often try to really get you to be afraid or excited about something. You're in trouble or you won some money or something. They really try to trick your brain into not thinking critically. Sense of urgency, they will always try to convince you to take action when you don't need to. It's not an urgent thing. If it is a real scenario, you don't have to do it in the next 5 minutes. But they're going to try to get you to do that because if you think you have to do it quickly, that means you don't think properly. And so, yeah. Then we also went through the family safe word. I hope you all have started thinking through that and what that should be and communicating with your loved ones. So what that is it's to protect against AI voice scams. You really want to create a private safe word with your family or with your friends, so that you can sort of protect yourself against AI voice scams. Meaning, a new scam these days is that someone can sort of clone a loved one's voice and try to call you pretending to be them. You could be a grandchild or a friend or family member or someone saying, I'm in prison, I'm in the hospital, I'm in jail. They try to convince you that it's them. But with a family safe word, you can protect yourself by, you ask them, hey, real quick, what's our safe word? All right. And if they can't provide the safe word, then just hang up, and you can try to call them back with the number that you have for them as well. But yeah, because whoever is doing the scam would not have that safe word. So yeah. And then lastly, your strongest shield, the active pause. Again, it all comes down to sense of urgency. I don't handle these things over the phone. You can say that to yourself. And again, hanging up, it's not a sign of rudeness, it's a vital security measure. You verify, call the person or institution using a number you look up from a bill or the back of your card. If they're calling you pretending to be, U.S. Bank or something, you can be like, you know what? I'm not going to continue speaking. I'm gonna call the official U.S. Bank number and get more information on if this is a real thing. And then report. Tell a family member or a trusted expert. That's always a helpful step as well. So, all right. So moving on to this session, we're going to talk about the credit freeze. Do you guys know what a credit freeze is? Okay.
I don't know exactly how to do it.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, credit freeze is the most effective, proactive step you can take to protect your identity. What it is you can call the 3 credit bureaus that are responsible for your credit score. You can call them and say, hey, I don't want you to provide any information to anyone. And so with that, so something scammers try to do is if they have information about you, like your address, your full name, your social security number, these things can be leaked sometimes through data breaches. What they can do with that information is try to open a credit card or a loan in your name. And they can do it in your name, but they have the money, right? And so, but then eventually that can come back to you, and then you're like, I didn't know about this account, right? I never made this. This wasn't me. But to the bank or to the credit card holder or to the credit card company, it was just, it was for the scammer rather than like you didn't know about it. So a credit freeze can prevent this by proactively stopping any credit inquiries on your credit score, on your credit report, so that a scammer won't be able to open an account, right? They won't be able to create a loan. They won't be able to add a credit card. But that does prevent you from also doing those same things. So if you need to take a loan or open a credit card or something like that, you will have to unfreeze it after you've frozen it. But it is pretty simple to do. You have control over it. You can just call them back and you can have it be thawed or lift the freeze if you actually need to apply for something. So.
How long does that freeze last?
It is indefinite until you decide otherwise, right? You can do temporary. You can also do a temporary lift where you're saying, for this period of 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing something, right? Like opening a credit card or loan or something. You can lift it for that time, and then after that time, it freezes again, right? But by default, it is all the time. Yeah.
What are the 3 credit bureaus again?
The 3 are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Yep. So you can call those 3 numbers, and again, it's on the handout. You can call those 3 numbers. You need to contact them independently. Unfortunately, you have to contact all 3 because they run the business. So, yeah. You can also visit identitytheft.gov for further information about this sort of thing and for a guided checklist for securing your identity. Yeah.
I get emails that tell me I should check my credit score for free. Is that a scam? I mean, why would they send me that? Who's sending it?
Yeah. I mean, it depends who's sending it, right? Yeah, it depends on who is sending it. If it's one of these companies, then it's not one of those companies. Okay. It could be, I know there are other banks or sort of financial institutions that will offer those services to their clients. And what they do is they just contact these organizations. But yeah, it's not that wouldn't be something you have to do, right? And yeah. So, all right. Are we clear with credit freeze? All right. All right, next, locking down social media. So, the threat scammers use platforms like Facebook and Instagram to map your family relationships, track your travel plans, and even scrape voice samples for, again, we talked about the voice cloning with AI. What I recommend doing about this is you reduce the amount of data that is publicly available on social media. And you do that because the more information about you that is out on the internet, whether it's on social media or on Google, the more information out there, it just makes the scammer's job easier. And we don't want to do that. We want to make their job harder because that protects you. But yeah, so one thing you can do is treat your friend list like visitors to your home. Only allow people you actually know and trust in real life. And ideally never post sensitive data like your home address or full birth date, things like that. Social security number, that should be obvious. But yeah, be skeptical of new friend requests from people you're already friends with. This can often be an impersonation attempt. A scammer can try to create a fake account based on one of your friends and then pretend to be them, even though it's just a scammer. But you're like, wait, I thought I was already friends with them. That should be a red flag. So,
Birthday greetings seem like it's the last big use of Facebook anymore.
The what?
Everybody wishing happy birthday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Might as well not exist if you give up that one.
Gives out your birthday, though.
But it does give out information.
Yeah, that is part of Facebook. Yeah, it's not ideal, but it is there, and you can. Facebook does give you the option to remove it if you want to. Yeah, I do understand that is a big part of the platform, but yeah.
How can you disable that then? I mean, is there certain steps you have to go through?
Yeah, Facebook has a privacy checkup option in the settings menu. A lot of platforms have this tool. You just go to the settings, and then there's this privacy checkup option, and it will go through. Do you want your profile to be public or private or friends only? It'll give you those options, and it will also allow you to change the birth date, whether that's in your example, it could be you could have only your friends see when your birthday is, right?
Well, I don't have my birthday posted, but people know when my birthday is, so they.
Sure. Okay.
It says it, then
Sure. Yeah. I mean, knowing a birthday is not the end of the world, right? But it is one factor that if the scammers have multiple pieces of information, they can do things with that. Yeah.
So as we're clearing stuff off, one of the things is that you get this invitation to unsubscribe to something you've never subscribed to. But it asks you if you want to unsubscribe. Is that just a trick? Or is that a real thing you can do?
So do you mean through email or?
Emails and whatever it is, it'll come up something and then ask you want to unsubscribe from this thing.
Okay. Yeah, there are like the more you go on the internet and put your email into things, the more there's a chance that your email will be shared with others that you didn't intend it to be shared with. And that could be newsletters, that could be people sending you things, that it could also be spam, right? But yeah, no, I have seen that where you're just, all of a sudden you're subscribed to something and yeah, it's like you can unsubscribe from it. Again, just be careful with the link, right? Ideally, don't click any links in emails, but yeah,
I
you
have
can.
a question about that.
Yeah.
I got a letter saying that my email had been leaked on the dark web. How do you get it off there? Don't you?
Unfortunately, there's not much you can do at that point. What you can do is you can sort of change how valuable that information is on the dark web. Meaning, like, you can change your accounts, right? You can create a different email that they don't have, right? Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot you can do about that.
You have everything linked to that first
Yeah,
email. Then you
yeah,
can change it.
yeah. As long as they don't have, your password, and if you have a secure password as well, that can, that'll help, right? Just because it's listed there doesn't mean that doesn't mean they can just access everything, right? But it is just, again, it's just one factor that if they have multiple factors, that could be worse, yeah. But yeah, unfortunately. All right, any other questions? All right. The rest of this here. So you can set your profile and post to friends only or private. You can also remove what's called search engine indexing. That's sort of a fancy term for saying how Google is able to access that information, right? In Facebook, you have the option to disable that, where Google will not obtain that information, because then it's like you don't want them to have that information. Then someone can just Google search your name and it just shows up with things. It just makes the scammer's job harder, and that's what we want to do.
Where would you find that in Facebook? You know right offhand?
Yeah, it's in the settings menu, and then under the privacy checkup option. Yeah. Then you can also do this with tagging. Set mentions to manual approval. Because another tactic scammers can do is they can tag you on posts that are fraudulent. And you don't want to be tagged on posts like that. So.
I have been taken, I never knew what that meant.
Sure.
What does that mean?
What that means, it's was it a friend of yours, or okay, yeah.
So they text or they tagged you on Facebook or something?
Yeah, that means that you're either involved, like you were in a picture or something, or your friend just wanted to share it with you or include you in the conversation, right? But scammers can also use it to get your attention. So, yeah.
Would that be in the same area then, the settings?
Yeah, under the privacy checkup, and we can go through that as well. After I'm going to give this presentation, then afterwards we can sort of dive into. I noticed some of you guys brought your computers, so we can look into that as well. So, yeah.
So should we be
Yeah.
changing our password regularly? Is that an important thing to do?
It is a good idea to change your password. How often depends on sort of your how sort of your level of sort of threat risk, or you don't have to change it as often as was once the standard, right? It's not like every 90 days change your password. No, you don't have to do it that frequently. The main thing is just having a long password. Yeah.
Well,
through something similar to this a long time ago.
Sure.
They were saying your best password is a sentence.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can have, you know, 4 or even 5 words or something, and that would help it. You know, as long as the password is longer, that makes it harder for the scammers. Yeah. Yeah. So, and we will. I think I'm gonna have to have another session for diving into that stuff a bit more. We'll do another one about passwords and that sort of thing. So, yeah. All right. So now there's this software called the Serif Secure that I learned about. That it's kind of a new thing in the industry. It's anti-scam software. And so, like a standard antivirus, you know, removes malware and protects your device, and that's great. You know, I think most people should have an antivirus of some sort, and we can get into that as well. We'll get into that. But Serif Secure, this software is designed to block the behavior of scammers. So it's sort of over the top. It doesn't prevent malware, but it prevents scammers from remotely connecting to your device. Again, so it's like the last time I mentioned the tech support scam, where you get a pop-up on your computer that's saying, you know, there's a virus detected, please call Microsoft, please call Apple, you know. Let's say you were to think that this is a real thing, and you were to call the fake number, and the person on the lines is, you know, they're a trusty Microsoft expert, you know, they're helping you, right? I mean, or so-called Microsoft expert, and they have you download this software, often called AnyDesk or TeamViewer, and then they're like, all right, we're gonna have you download this so that I can connect to your device and secure your device from whatever issue they're claiming your computer has. This software, Serif Secure, would block that entirely, and it would warn you, saying, there's been an attempt to connect to your device. This is likely, if someone is calling you on the phone and telling you to do this, this is likely a scam. So it is sort of a built-in protection. I know I mentioned that the best defense is your own knowledge of these things, so that you can think critically and defend yourself against these things. But there are a few actual tools that we can implement that will help you in this sort of thing. So, and you can also assign a trusted guardian, like a family member, who will receive real-time alerts if the software detects something happening, so that then they can be like, hey, I just got this alert on my phone. Were you contacting someone? Were you on the phone with someone? You know, what did they do, right? So then you can sort of get help there. So yeah, that's serifsecure.com. That's also on the handout, so yeah. And we can get into installing this as well. It's available on Mac and Windows, so yeah. Any questions on that? Yeah.
So, if in spite of this excellent training and all,
Yes.
things go bad,
Yes.
is identity insurance a good idea or not, like LifeLock?
That is, it depends on sort of, I guess, your confidence level, right? It depends how sure you are of these things, how maybe how valuable things are. But it is definitely a good service, a service like LifeLock. Yeah.
So how many of these services do you have to protect yourself?
I mean, not
Because they
too.
charge for all of that.
Yeah.
Pretty pricey.
Yeah. This one is free. They have a free plan, And the free plan, I've tested it. It does most of what you need it to do, but yeah, yeah, with something like LifeLock, yeah, that they don't have a free version, but yeah.
Well, I have and they've got so expensive to have those.
Sure.
I took a free one, but it's not protecting everything.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, they can't provide everything for free, right? Unfortunately.
Well, I mean, you have stuff that protects from viruses and stuff that
Yeah.
protects just.
Yeah.
Do you have to have something to protect? If you have one thing like
WebRoot?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Does that protect you from all that stuff, or do you have to?
Well, this would be different again. So WebRoot would protect you from malware, right?
Oh,
So,
malware.
yeah. Whereas this would protect you from scammers connecting to your device. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yes.
I'm,
Oh,
no,
sorry.
A lot of questions.
As far as PCs go, is
Yeah.
Linux any safer than Windows or Mac?
Linux?
Yeah.
It is. It is safer because Windows is, you know, the Windows is kind of what everyone uses, and sort of scammers often, you know, build things around Windows. However, Linux is a lot more of an advanced platform, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend that.
Right.
But yeah, it is. It is. So, yeah.
well, I learned that on Facebook,
Yeah.
they'll have shops. You know, they'll show you
Sure.
like based on your interests, you might like this blouse or something.
Sure.
And you click on it to see. And I have learned by doing that
Yeah.
that it's a bad website. So I
Okay.
now take the name and I Google it separately, and then it will
Yeah.
come up saying this has proven to be a scam,
Yeah.
or this has
Yeah.
proven to be unreliable. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking if you click on it and even get to the site, and send money for it, you may not get what you think you're getting.
Yeah.
Or they've got access to your computer now. I don't know. Can they
Yeah.
do that through a fake shopping site?
They're probably more looking for your money than access to your computer in that case. But yeah, but unfortunately, you know, platforms like Facebook are very large, right? And so there are many things that people do and post on them that you know, Facebook. I'd like to think Facebook does a good job of protecting against these things, but I don't know. But it's there's just a lot for them to manage, and so there's probably a report option. You can report that to Facebook.
Yes.
I would recommend
done that.
reporting it to Facebook, yeah, so that they're aware of, you know, scammers are doing this type of thing, and so, yeah, but,
Good. Yeah, I've done that too.
yeah, yeah,
Well, I have norovirus, but not virus protection.
Okay.
And every once in a while, maybe every couple of days, it'll bring up a site saying that you need to add this to your program, or add this, or add that, to make sure you get all
Okay.
of the bad things in your computer, and they'll get rid of all the junk in your computer, and, but every time if you do that, there's a charge for each one. I think she had mentioned that.
sure, yeah,
And I said,
Yeah.
wow, how
yeah,
much am I gonna do there?
yeah, they often have extra services or plugins or features you can pay for. Most of those I would not say are needed, right? The main thing is it's, you know, protection against the malware and viruses. And to add on that as well, platforms like Windows have gotten a lot better in recent years. Like 10, 15 years ago, it was a necessity that you had an antivirus from a third-party vendor, like WebRoot or Norton or something like that. These days, it's actually less required, as Windows has a built-in thing called Windows Defender. But yeah, it is still there if you want, if you want to make sure, because Windows Defender won't catch everything, right? But it is, if you go without subscribing to a antivirus, you're a lot better off than you would have been 10 years ago, let's say. So, yeah.
I don't have a credit card, but I've got a cash card.
Okay.
And every time I take out money or anything, I have to put in my identification number. Does that work the same as a credit card?
For,
It's a Union cash card.
okay. Do you mean for them taking that information?
Yeah,
I guess I'm not sure, but if it's like is it like a debit card? Or,
Yes.
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, then, yeah, they would be able to use that as well if they had access to it.
The worst part would
But-
be you can't get anything back off a cash card or debit card, can you ever? A credit card, you can challenge it with the credit company,
Sure,
and
sure.
they can cancel that payment or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But with a cash card, there's no recouping it.
Yeah, there are, credit cards often do have better protections and better procedures for, remediating against fraud. Like if there was a charge that, it was like, this was a charge from Arizona for $200. Like I wasn't in Arizona at that time, right? Yeah.
But I think the question was, a cash card might have a passcode
Sure.
with it, and if they can get the number from the cash card but don't have the passcode, can they still access it?
I think they would still need that code, yeah. But if you know that they have the number, I would recommend contacting the bank and saying, hey, can I get a replacement, right? And they'll likely do that, yeah.
But they don't even take my cash card unless I give them my number that I've got on it. I have to give them my cash card and then
Yeah.
I have to put the number in that I've got on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they, if either of those, the information is taken, then yeah, I would recommend replacing the card, and then they'll issue you a new number, and so then from that it's, it's like restarting. So, yeah.
What do you think about second verification?
We will get into that in another session. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Right.
Okay, simple question.
Yeah,
So
one more.
Then for the standard antivirus, is that what you're saying is LifeLock, something like that? Is that what standard antivirus?
No. LifeLock would be identity theft insurance.
So what is this then?
This would be protecting your computer from.
No, not the Seraph. That very first sentence, standard antivirus removes
Ye-
malicious files. What is the standard antivirus?
Yeah, that'd be like WebRoot or Norton, or there's others.
Is Norton different than LifeLock?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So there's identity theft insurance, which is just something you subscribe to, and they'll monitor your credit report and all of this. There's software. There's an antivirus software that you install on your computer, and it will protect from malware. And then there's also the Seraph Secure, which is something I'm recommending that is above and beyond antivirus, where it'll protect against scam connections. So there's sort of three things there. Yeah.
Did you say some brands that you thought were particularly good?
I mean, we can get into that more, but for antivirus, things like Bitdefender are good. You know, ESET is good, ESET. Those are both good brands that I know of. Yeah. So. All right. So, just sort of recapping what we're talking about here. I have this checklist, and it is also on your handout. These are things I'd recommend you go through sometime this week. Again, create a family safe word. Call the credit bureaus and freeze your credit. This is assuming you don't need to take out a loan or a credit card anytime soon. And just when you do this, make sure that you understand that if you do need to open a credit card or take out a loan or something, you will need to unfreeze it first. Otherwise, it'll reject it. And it does it by design so that no one can open an account, right? So, yeah, and then review the privacy settings. So, again, in Facebook, there's a privacy checkup setting you can review. Yeah, and then install Serif Secure. So, go to their website and download the app.
You can also just lock your credit cards too, because I have to do that.
Yeah, you can do that as well. If you
If you want to use it, you just unlock it.
You can do that as well, yeah, depending on how often you use credit cards. Yeah. Yeah. So, any questions? You had a lot of questions today.
I think for people wondering about what LifeLock is, that's like an
Yeah.
insurance. If somebody gets your social security number and now they own your house, you're gonna have to go to hire lawyers, and so they'll insure you up to like $1 million to
Yeah.
fight identity loss,
Yep.
and it's kind of a worst case type
Yeah.
insurance.
Yeah, it's designed to protect against identity theft, and if they have access to your credit information, or if they do open a credit card in your name, then a service like LifeLock would give you more resources to deal with that. But yeah.
I know that I'm the weird person out, but I don't use Facebook.
Okay.
But I have a Facebook account that's out there, and I tried to get it to close it, and I could not get it to close it. But if I do that privacy thing and put it to, what did it say, family only or something, would that help me, or is there a way to get rid of it?
It is your account,
Yes,
and you have access to sign into the account?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, you could do that as for sure. You could.
Good. I tried and I couldn't figure out how to do it.
You mean like removing the account,
Moving it.
or?
I don't want to have a Facebook account.
I can look into that more, but there should be a way to delete the account. That's usually, most platforms have that option, but it might not be in Facebook's interest for you to delete the account, right? So they might try to prevent that, but they should have that option.
I have a question. My sister Linda died in 2013. We didn't have access to her passwords, but I finally got into her Facebook page by changing the password, but I have no idea how to get rid of it.
Her account? Or?
Yeah, I'd close her account.
Yeah. Again, I can look into it more, but it's sort of like
It's kind of hard.
they should have a delete option in there, but
I never looked at it.
yeah. Otherwise, it's probably easier to just make the information private, right? So that it's not publicly available.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, this is just in general, if you feel there's enough that you'd like to take another week, if the class feels we need another week, I mean, I'm willing to move our
Yeah.
class back.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to come,
Yeah.
announce it today and do it, if you feel like you wanna do that.
Yeah, I think we'll look at days on doing that. Yeah.
Then pastor should announce it this morning, so you should let him know.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You're off.
As, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you answered this question in the first class, but so if when we're gonna do these things, it all seemed like so good, like as you're telling it to us, but then we'll struggle. Who can we go to that can help kind of handhold us through some of these things we need to do?
Implementing some of the steps.
Yeah, so, some of us have kids,
Mhm.
they seem to know this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And others maybe just need someone to go to, and we learned this,
Yeah.
but I'm having
Yeah.
a hard time figuring out how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, family members or trusted experts. I think last time I mentioned Geek Squad, right? They're a good resource. You can just go to them and they're able to help you with a lot of different things involving that sort of thing. But also you can just contact me at church here and I can help with that. But yeah.
That was my question, can we have your phone number?
We have a waiting line on the stairs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Facebook account.
Yeah, I think I'll be here earlier most Sundays, and so you can find me. But
Yeah, there you go.
all right.
You'll walk us all.
Let's see. So yeah, I don't think we're sort of short on time here, but I guess were there any more questions or? Yeah.
Thank you.
You did good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy to do this. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right.
So the next week you'll look at our phones and help us to do what we need to do?
Yes. Yes. We will do that. And yeah. Yeah. All right.